We are going to move on to the next presentation. Our first moderator is Celeste Parker. She's a retail food specialist in the Office of State Cooperative Programs with the US FDA. Welcome, Celeste.
Thank you, Tricinda, and hello everybody in Southwest. I'm really sad that we're not able to see each other in person like we would usually do, but I am glad to see y'all virtually. So to kick off our first presentation of the day, I would like to introduce y'all to Rosa Haukedahl. She is a regional supervisor with the Iowa Department of Inspection and Appeals. And she is going to give us a perspective of a virtual shift in the regulatory reality. So take it away, Rosa.
Thank you, Celeste. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for inviting me to present and for your interest in Iowa Virtual Inspection Program. So I think I got access to my Oh, here we go. I get access to my PowerPoint, so that is wonderful. So how do we get started? So when the pandemic finally got to Iowa, because it started at the East Coast, and shortly after it started affecting Iowa, we had our governor issue a state of emergency declaration, and it limited the services at the bar and restaurants, and with that, it limits our ability to do in-person inspections during a period of time. With that said, you know, those facilities were still serving food to the public. So in an effort for us to continue to fulfill our duty to public health, we developed a way or a program to continue to do inspections, but do it a little bit different and using a virtual platform. So the inspections were limited to high risk complaints and pre-opening inspections. It allows for us to maintain social distancing, provided the necessary level of food safety information for that we can give the operators so they can conduct their regular business. And these inspections were mainly focused on compliance and education. And we were also able to provide helpful tools for the operators to continue the service. So we created a pilot group. We selected some inspectors that were outstanding with technology, and we selected a group of facilities. During the pilot, we're targeting pre-operational inspections. These inspections are voluntary, or continue to be voluntary in nature. You know, we need to have the operators and the facilities will have to be in agreement for us to conduct these inspections. So we developed a standardized email with instructions for the operator on the chosen virtual platform. We use Google Meets. We created a virtual inspection type in USA Food Safety, and that allows us to use our 57-point inspection form, which is the standard form we use. We have a disclaimer that we added to the inspection at the inspection comments. In the published comments of our inspection report, the disclaimer went there. The inspection itself, the report, it was kept as a draft, and it was sent as an email to the operator. The inspector reviewed the inspection report with the operators virtually. It was emailed to the operator, and upon the received an acknowledgement of the report, then the report will be submitted. And this is just an example of a template of what we send out, the email instructions that were sent. And as you can see, it's pretty detailed, you know, and enable for the inspection to be successful, the operator need to have their thermometers, test strips, need to be able to show the test strips to the inspector, use the test strips, and other instructions that we have in place on the email that we send to them ahead of time. There is also a conversation that they have prior to the inspection, just to make sure that everything is in place and that the operator know what it is expected of them. And this is an example of the disclaimer that it is put on the inspection published comments on our report. So we completed a training and we created SOP, which is a standard operating procedures. We also have work instructions that we use as aids for training and helping an inspector navigate the new virtual inspection platform. We completed the pilot and then proceeded to train all the inspectors. We also invited a local contracting agencies in Iowa to observe our virtual inspections and to participate in the training. We developed the SOP for the virtual inspections. We also established virtual food safety checks, that those were non-regulatory. They were optional, and we have, or at the moment we had a request form on our website. If they want a virtual food safety check, they can request it. And that was something that we were doing kind of like towards the end of our limited work on the field, but it was also successful. So we also have, we developed virtual inspection FAQs. We developed the food manufacturing pre-operational work instructions too. We send out industry and inspector surveys to collect the data to see how was the program working and how, you know, which areas that we needed to improve or do we needed to change, or what else we needed to incorporate to make this a success. Then the after action reports were created. We gathered the feedback, we reviewed the feedback, and we adjusted as we needed. The next. So the challenges that we have, as you can see with a new program, we had many challenges. So I said that our pilot group became experts at technology. So the main challenge that we have was the majority of the operators use their cell phones to complete this inspection, the virtual inspections. So they had a lack of understanding of their own devices. And in addition to a lack of understanding of the platform that we were using, the Google Meet. And we need to add in there also internet and cell phone services for the operators was spotty at sometimes. So the calls and the videos, you know, they were dropping. Android phone versus iPhones, that is something that, cell phone models, that is something that we have to overcome. So at some point during the pilot, we realized that. So one of the questions that we incorporated during the phone call conversation prior to the virtual inspection was, what type of phone do they have? So in a way, we and the inspectors knew how to help them. So we quickly learned how to navigate not only our own devices and technology, but also what was the most common phone that they were using by the operator, so we can help them. Other challenges were limited ability of the operators. One that we experienced, and this is after we were done with the pilot, as we were moving forward with more and more inspections, virtual inspections, and we trained the remaining of the inspector, was to rethink the flow of the inspections, because we as an inspectors, when we go in there, we are very sensory driven. You know, we see, we hear, we smell, we touch. So we're not able to see all that. So we needed to rethink the way that we do the inspections to utilize the operator that is holding the phone, to guide them to where we want them to go, towards what we want to see. just what we need to assess. So that was an adjustment that we needed to do. The limited availability to verify all food code regulations, that was also something that we needed to overcome. And I give you some examples, such as, the pest control, the walls, the ceiling, the floor materials. So that was something that we needed to overcome. So the lessons learned. The virtual inspection platform for us was very successful. Most of the industry did welcome the virtual inspection approach, and they were eager to participate in the pilot, and they continue to be eager to, to participate or to do the inspections virtually. By using the pilot approach, it allowed our department to make the necessary improvements before we fully implemented the program. And we became technology experts, so that is a positive. And we were able to assist the operators with the inspections, and they were very grateful for that. We continue to learn as we expand on the virtual inspection program. There's new technology out there, and even so, hold on. So moving forward. So where are we at now that we are back in the field with the new normal? We continue to use our virtual inspection platform, pre-operational inspection. For us in Iowa, we do home bakery inspections, and the home bakery inspections, we can do those virtually too. And the pre-operational inspections, we do those virtually. Again, the operator needs to be on agreement for this to happen. If they are not, then an inspection in person will take place. We do the school, our schools here in Iowa, they have a summer food program where we do have a contract to do the summer food program inspections. Those we were able to do virtually if the school was able to handle that. So that's something that we did this summer, and for the most of it was very successful too. We are conducting a routine inspection for risk level 1. And we have as a goal to pilot a risk level 2 inspections too. We have developed work instructions for routine complaints and recheck inspections to use the virtual platform. We continue to receive positive feedback from both the industry and the inspectors. So with that, I think we have quite a few questions. So that is my presentation, but I believe we have quite a few questions here in the chat. So Daphne, do you want me to read the questions and answer them, or Celeste? So the first question, what was the disclaimer? Oh, go ahead, Celeste. I can't hear you.
I've been trying to monitor and collect all of them. One of the first questions that came in is if you could expand a little bit on exactly what that disclaimer was for when you first started.
Okay, let me see if I can get to my PowerPoint. So the disclaimer, I don't know that I can get to the PowerPoint, but the disclaimer is it states that this inspection was conducted virtually using the following technology. It is blank, the example that I have on the slide, but once we fill it in, is that we use Google Meet. Due to technology limitations, let me see if I can bring that up. If not, I'll just continue to read from mine. Due to technology limitations, not all regulatory requirements, responses marked as in or NO on this report may fully reflect what was assessed, observed, and or may be applicable to this inspection or the scope of the food establishment operation. So here it is. And additionally, is a subsequent on-site inspection reveals non-compliance with regulations. The permit holders agree to bring violations into full compliance within the time frame specified as in the food code. So what this disclaimer allowed us to do, if anything that was out of compliance during the virtual inspection, they are responsible, or they are responsible to correct, to fix. We, as a rule, and it is on an SOP too, we don't do 2 routine inspections in a row. If a facility had a virtual pre-opening inspection, the following inspection, which is a routine inspection, must be done in person. If at that time, something that was identified out of compliance in the virtual inspection must be corrected right away. They are agreeing to that. So that's basically what the disclaimer allows for. So how much advance notice? Go ahead, Celeste.
Oh, yeah. Well, you already have it. How much advance notice was given to the operators prior to the scheduling of those inspections?
We usually notify the inspector. We call them and we ask them, are you ready for your pre-opening inspection? Do you have the ability to do this virtually? And then we explain to them what entails to be done virtually. If the operator and the inspector can come to an agreement and the operator agrees to conduct the inspection virtually, it will be, I will say, within 24 hours to maybe 48 at the most. Usually the operators come to us and they are ready for that inspection. So the time frame there is not a long time frame. Plus it's quicker, especially for those pre-opening inspection. It's less wait time for the industry. The inspection for the inspector.
Wonderful. And I'm going to kind of combine 2 questions related to what was the time period for conducting the virtual before returning back to the in-person inspections, and whether or not y'all are still doing these virtual inspections.
We do continue to do the virtual inspections. We're doing our pre-opening inspections virtually. We have the ability to do the school inspections, and risk level 1, which is mostly our retail stores that do not have any prepared food, bars that do not have food. Those we have the ability to conduct virtually right now. We have SOPs and work instructions for those. What was the second question, Celeste? What is the time frame from a virtual to an in-person?
Well, when y'all returned back to in-person from beginning the pilot during the peak of COVID.
So even during the state of emergency, and even with the limitations that we have, the industry suffered a lot during that time, and we were limited with that. Our high priority, we were responding to that. So we were never fully away from the field. We were just limited. So our goal was to, again, maintain a level of safety with our own inspectors and continue to service and provide the necessary public health, what was necessary to ensure that we have what it takes to assure, the safety of the public during that time, because the restaurants never fully closed. So if we had to go in person, we were ready to go in person too. So we were never fully away from the field. This was just another tool on our toolbox.
Wonderful. And I think we might have time for just one last question. And so I just wanted to get your thoughts on, after doing this pilot, out of necessity, are there certain elements that you feel moving forward into the future, whenever we have some kind of semblance of pre-COVID normalcy, if you will, do you foresee some of these elements of your program virtually sticking and being a future part of your public health approach?
Absolutely. And we continue to expand on the virtual inspection program. Again, like I just said, it's just another tool on our toolbox. Anything that we have that will give us the ability to expand on what we have, we welcome that. So today we not only continue to do the home bakers, the pre-opening and the risk level 1, we have as a goal to pilot at risk level 2. We have the ability upon the discretion of our RRT to respond to a non-illness complaint virtually if we had to. And with the staff limitations, it has been a tremendous help. If we have an area where a response is needed, but the inspector assigned to that area is not able to respond, then we have the ability to respond virtually to either a complaint or a pre-opening or even a food safety check. So we continue to educate, we continue to provide assistance and to be present so the industry doesn't feel that they are alone even during the pandemic.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rosa, so much for that information and that perspective of really pivoting and thinking on your toes, during a moment where, change is a necessity and exploring ways that you can, continue public health and protecting the public. So I appreciate you so much for your perspective.
Thank you, Celeste. And this was a group effort, so a lot of people had a lot to do with this program, and this is the success of it. It's because of our inspectors embrace it, and from our leadership to my counterpart, my other supervisor, and the program retail lead, we all work together to make this a success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rosa. And thank you so much, Celeste. That was a great presentation.